Hi, and welcome to Long Live the Queen, where we talk about the women who made history. And by we, I mean the royal we, because it's just me. Today we're going to talk about BBC's The Hollow Crown, specifically Henry IV, Part 1. Usually it's just me, but today I have my friend Crystal with me. Hi, Crystal.
Hi, Christina.
You ready
How
to talk
are
about
you?
Shakespeare? I'm great.
Absolutely.
It's Shakespeare time. Okay, so just to start us off, this play was written in 1596 or 1597. The first record of it seems to be in 1598. So Queen Elizabeth would have been in her early 60s.
Mm-hmm.
And this would have been during the time when she was fighting with Spain and potentially burning Ireland to the ground, attempting to anyway,
Okay.
because they were friendly with Spain. And Shakespeare worked for Queen Elizabeth. So here we are.
Yes, he did. He knew which side his bread was buttered on.
He did. And this is like the history of the crown. I compare it a lot of times to Hamilton, or
Okay.
play Hamilton, because
Mm-hmm.
that's kind of what Shakespeare was. It was a play about history that happened a few hundred years ago, a couple hundred years ago to them. So
Okay.
it's sort of like when we watch Hamilton and we're like, oh, well, I get it. So, stuff is added, stuff is taken away. It's definitely
Right.
playing to the
There's
audience, but
artistic license.
it's generally pretty accurate. He did a good job. Well, some would argue he didn't. He talks about Richard III like he's terrible. So people are like, no, Shakespeare was just mean. But this one seems fairly accurate. And I think it's funny that it's called Henry IV, because I feel like this play is way more about Prince Hal, which is Henry V.
Yes. I was confused when I started watching it. I was like, oh, is Tom Hiddleston Henry the Fourth?
He's Henry V. Well, not yet. Now he's just Prince Hal, fun Prince Hal, the drunkard. But
Yep.
eventually he'll be King Henry V. And it's funny because I feel like if you watch the Richard II, it is about
Mm-hmm.
Richard II, but it's mostly about Henry Bolingbroke, who turns into Henry IV.
Okay.
So that's kind of Shakespeare's vibe. He's like setting up for his next play, because after Henry IV 1 and 2, then is Henry V. So,
Right.
and
Got to keep those patrons coming back,
yep,
right?
yep. He's like, guess what? Guess what you're going to want to see? Like, because Richard II is about that, but there's a lot of Henry Bolingbroke in there,
Okay.
who turns into King Henry IV. So,
Right.
in between Richard II and King Henry IV, Part 1, quite a few decades have passed, I want to say. He's relatively young in Richard II, and
Okay.
he's an older king by this point. And we see Prince Hal, and he wakes up Falstaff, his old drunk friend.
Mm-hmm.
That's just Falstaff's vibe, is he's just the old drunk guy that Prince Hal hangs out with sometimes. And he is played by Simon Russell Beale. And have you watched The House of the Dragon?
Yes.
Okay, he plays Sir Simon Strong. That old, fabulous theater queen who's like living in that, what's that castle that's like falling apart?
Not Harrenhal.
Yes, Harrenhal.
Oh, Harrenhal. Okay.
Uh-huh. He's the one running Harrenhal, and he's like, come on in, it's a dump. Same guy.
Oh, yeah. Okay. I got you.
Same guy plays Falstaff. And he's all, what time is it? And Prince Hal's like, what do you care? Like, you just live your life drunk with, the tavern prostitutes.
Mhm.
And Prince Hal is played by Tom Hiddleston, who you probably know from The Avengers. He's Loki.
Mm-hmm.
I know him because he was Taylor Swift's boyfriend for a little bit. So, getaway cars about him, I'm pretty sure. So, then we're flipping back between scene 1 and scene 2 in Act 1. All the stuff with Prince Hal is technically scene 2, and all the stuff with the king is technically scene 1. But because it's a movie, they can flip back and forth.
Yeah, it took me while I was looking through the actual play.
Mm-hmm.
I was like, oh wait, this is out of order.
Yeah, a little bit, because they're trying to like mush them together. Like, you wouldn't do that in
Yeah.
a play because it's too hard to change the scenes. But in a movie, you can
Right.
totally change the scenes back and forth. So the king is accusing Henry Hotspur of causing trouble He's a distant cousin, and he is causing trouble because he is on Mortimer's side. And Mortimer is the son of the man who King Richard II declared his heir
Okay.
before he was deposed by his cousin, Bolingbroke.
Okay.
So basically they're saying this king shouldn't be king
And
because,
Mortimer was Hotspur's wife's brother.
yes. Yes.
So
They're
there was
all
like
sort of
a
related. They're also kind of
yeah,
cousins, and like it's a
yeah.
whole thing. So, oh, the king is like also, and my son's kind of a disappointment. Prince Hal just hangs
Mhm.
out in taverns all the time. He's kind of
Mhm.
like thumbs down. But he becomes King Henry V, who was pretty impressive.
Mhm.
He's the one that in the Tudors, when Henry VIII is
Yeah.
all like, why was Henry V remembered? For Agincourt. So he pulls it
Yes.
together. He does. But as a young man, he's a little bit of a drunkard. And Poins comes in to talk to Prince Hal, and he is like, hey, I got a good idea. I heard that Falstaff is going to rob this guy. Let's go rob him, and then it'll be funny, like a prank.
Yeah.
And Hal is unsure, but he's like, sure. Like, if you plan it and you bring the supplies, like, I'll go with you to do this prank, sure. And Prince Hal's like, Prince of the people. He likes to hang out with the common
Mhm.
folks in the
Mhm.
tavern. He's not wanting to, like, Prince of Wales it up at the court.
Yeah.
He's
He's
not.
not fancy.
No, no. He's just like, I want to just hang out with the fun people. And the king is running out of patience with him. He's like, you are the worst Prince of Wales I ever saw. Like, I didn't depose and kill my cousin just so you could, like, hang out in taverns with regular people.
The pores.
The
Ooh.
pores. Yeah. And then we see Worcester, and he's played by David Heyman, who was in The Boy in Strapped Pajamas as Pavel.
Mm.
So, honestly, most of my note taking is sort of recapping this, but it's also looking up all the actors in it because there's so
Okay.
many actors in it.
And Worcester is Hotspur's uncle.
Yes. He
Okay.
is like on the rebels side.
Right.
And I haven't looked into it, but when we watched that Anne Boleyn thing and she's like, Lady Worcester,
Mhm.
like I feel like they must be somewhat related. I mean, this is much later. Anne
Oh
Boleyn
yeah.
would be much later, but
Yeah.
Worcester. And Northumberland is there too, and he is played by Alan Armstrong. And he was in David Copperfield with Daniel Radcliffe. It's like all the British actors kind of are together in stuff all the time. He played Daniel Pagadi. I didn't watch David Copperfield, but
I
for anyone who did,
mm-mm.
that's this guy.
And he's Hotspur's dad.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
And Northumberland is like, my son meant no harm. And Hotspur's like, yeah, I didn't do anything. And Hotspur is played by Joe Armstrong, who's Alan Dale in BBC's Robin Hood. And the guy playing his dad is actually his dad in real life.
Oh, really? That's
Yeah.
cool.
Yeah, I had no idea. And Hotspur's like, no, really, really, I didn't do anything. I'm good, I promise. And the king is like, oh gosh, you're a rebel and you suck, but I wish my son was more like you, because my son sucks. And then we see Blunt. Blunt is there, and he's played by Joylon Coy. And he was also young Maurice in the 2017 Beauty and the Beast with Emma Watson. So when they
Oh,
flash back to young Maurice, that's him.
okay.
It's a super
Okay.
small part, but same guy. And Blunt's like, yeah, it's probably fine to let him go. He's probably not going to cause a problem. Famous last words, because he's going to cause a problem. And then Hotspur's like
Just a little
mad.
one.
Yeah, he's like, what the fuck? He's just a dumb old man. Like, he doesn't know anything. He's just a stupid king. And then we're back to the prince, and we see the forest robbery. And Falstaff, along with his friend, is going to rob these other guys.
Bandoff and Pedo?
Bardolph, yeah. And
Bardoff.
Pato.
Bardoff and Pedo.
Yeah. And Bardolph is named Tom Georgeson, and he's in A Fish Called Wanda, and he plays someone named George Thomason. So Tom Georgeson plays George Thomason, and I feel like that's not an accident.
Oh.
I was like, huh, I see what they did there.
You know the drill. Part 2 is on Patreon, and the link for Patreon is in the show description. See you there.
You'll be remembered. Thanks for listening.